It is different to anything else, but it's not different on purpose. I guess the starting point is perhaps different to anything else, because the starting point is just such a strong belief that every human being can become numerate in childhood. The brain is pre-wired to become numerate, isn't it? Just like we learn to walk and learn to talk with ease. And so I just felt very, very strongly that every single human being can become numerate easily while still a child, and then after that we can move on to look at how everybody can become a fully rounded mathematician in childhood as well. There I am looking at this true lost simplicity of primary maths, and these two big revelations came to me. The first one was chronology. All of these natural, clear chronologies were just jumping out to me as simple and true. For example, there's a very definite, clear chronology for every child to become numerate. The journey that we take from becoming numerate to becoming a mathematician. Every thread of progression has these detailed steps that can be unpicked and just seen. And even when you get into a particular step, you can zoom inside it and you can see micro steps underneath that. So I felt like I was uncovering the DNA of primary maths. And of course, when you put all of these threads of progression back together again, what you see is a framework of steps that you can zoom in and out of. So this is a great structure, and it resonates with everybody because it's just clearly true and known, and it's a wonderful thing to use that to be able to really see the primary maths curriculum clearly. The second revelation was that there were these killer concepts that children really had to acquire to move forward with their numeracy journey. And really easy, simple stuff that typically children just weren't acquiring. The great thing about all of these concepts, and there's not a huge amount of them, there's just a few of them, the great thing about them is that the child's just got to learn that concept once, and then there's just so many applications to it. And it was just so clear that children weren't getting these simple things. So I had a huge amount of fun identifying them. The first thing really is to give those concepts a name, because as long as they're nameless concepts, it's difficult for anybody to communicate about them, let alone for the child to access that concept. So giving these concepts names, quite often I wrapped around a game or a character with that concept just to help the child access it, help teachers explain about that concept, and then help the child to fall back on that concept as they move forward, which will obviously help them to use and apply that concept and to consolidate it as they move forward. So what I was faced with now, of course, was turning this into a whole school system, because clearly this is either delivered at the whole school level successfully or it's not delivered at all. So that means, for example, wiring that natural chronology, hardwiring it into a whole school system that will really deliver on this efficient journey for every single child. And what we've done since then is we've built a digital structure around all of these natural chronologies, so that teachers have hours and hours less time in terms of getting to know their content detail, putting it into their planning, moving children smoothly through the journey. So the teachers are actually tapping into all of this efficiency that comes from this natural journey. And that means that there's a constant raising of standards and at the same time reducing workload. Of course, all of this invites us as teachers to look at the maths curriculum differently, to see it differently. And seeing it differently leads on to us thinking about delivering it differently. When we come to think about delivering it differently, we've got to think about planning it differently, assessing it differently. Big maths, teach different.